Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you. The second session of the Rise Up. Last week, we had a spectacular session in where our friend Sri Lakshmi had rocked the stage by presenting her views beautifully. Now, today, as informed earlier, we are going to organize a debate on the topic homeschooling versus traditional schooling. Also, the time permits, we'll move to the next topic, jobs versus entrepreneurship. Before that, I want to tell you, we were trying to organize group debates earlier, but due to some issues and starting trouble, because some issues and starting trouble, we had to go with the individual debates. So we will be arranging group debates in the upcoming sessions of Rise Up. Also, I would like to welcome our two judges, Rajesh sir and Ben sir, to our session for judging. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Ben, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I will tell about the debating rules. Firstly, each participant would get 4 to 5 minutes to speak up on the topic. Also, they will get additional 2 minutes if any questions were raised to them by the audience or the judges. Secondly, if you want to share the screen, you will be given the permission to do that also. If you are a bit struggling with English, you could also present in your own language, but we must understand it. So if you are a problem in English, you could present in Malayalam too. Our judges will calculate the marks on the basis of the creativity, presenting, and based on the raising points, ability to answer questions, raising questions to others, and many more things. Now that's all about the debating and debating rules. Now we can start the debate. Let's move on. Topic and traditional schooling versus homeschooling. Now who will begin?
Okay, before that, can I have a couple of words?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is going to keep the time? Who will be keeping the time?
Me, sir.
Okay, good. So 4 to 5 minutes and additional 2 minutes for questions, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can they come back and rebut the points?
Yes, after giving everyone a first chance, they could come back. Now who will begin? Show the enthusiasm and boldness. Speak up, even your voice shakes.
Okay.
Start the debate.
I'm not done yet. So when they come back for the rebuttal, how many minutes will you give?
That I told 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. That was thinking on feet, right? You haven't thought about it before, but that's good. Okay, I think I and Ben have spoken before, and we will generally judge you on the basis of your content and style. So the content will have, of course, the points, not necessarily the strength of the points, but the way you put across those points, because some of the points may be weaker than the other one. So we understand that, but how well you put together the points, that's the first point. And the second is how well you present, how articulate you are, how fluent you are. You can use, as long as it's English, you can use any language. Is that what you said, Avinash? No, right? Okay, English or Malayalam. We can speak in English or Malayalam, no issues. Hindi, I won't understand. That doesn't matter. If you want to speak in Hindi, that's also fine.
It's okay. I will pick up the Hindi part. Yeah.
Yes, please.
No. I will pick up if there is a Hindi part.
Hindi part. That's good to know. Okay. So, roughly, you have any questions to us?
No, sir.
Okay, Avinash, you will keep the time and you will moderate it. We just sit back and relax, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right, done. Ben, anything to add?
No, it's all clear. All clear.
Okay, all right.
Okay, who will come up? First, way I want all of you to turn on the video because we could make it more interesting and interacting. Come up, yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Should I ask you a question? Like, is it okay that I can watch this debate because Avinash invited me to this? And is it okay that I can watch this?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, you could watch it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Avinash. Thanks.
All this will be calculated with your marks, right? Show up your enthusiasm and be bold to show up. Come forward, any one of you.
I will.
Or should I call the names?
No, I will.
Rishikesh, good. Come.
I'm with.
Do you want to share the screen?
മലയാളത്തിലാണ്. ഞാൻ സ്കൂളിൽ പോയി പഠിക്കണതിനാണ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നത്. സാമ്പ്രദായിക ആയിട്ടുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിന്റെ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് പോയിന്റ്സ് ഉള്ളത് എന്നാണ്. അതായത് നമ്മള് വിദ്യാലയത്തിൽ പോയി പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ വഴി തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ വ്യക്തിത്വം, സ്വഭാവം അങ്ങനെ പലതും മാറ്റം വരുന്നുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സ്വഭാവം ഒക്കെ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തെടുക്കാൻ ഇത് വളരെയധികം സഹായിക്കും സ്കൂളിൽ പോയി പഠിക്കും. ഇത് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലും കൂടി ഉണ്ട്, മലയാളം മനസ്സിലാവാത്തത്. പിന്നെ ഈ ഓൺലൈനായിട്ട് പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ ടീച്ചർമാർക്കും കുട്ടികൾക്കും കൂടുതൽ ഇന്ററാക്റ്റീവ് ആവാൻ പറ്റില്ല, അതായത് അടുത്തിടപഴകാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പോൾ സ്കൂളിൽ പോയി പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇതൊക്കെ ടീച്ചർമാർക്ക് കുട്ടികളുമായി സംസാരിക്കാം, അടുത്തിടപഴകാം. പിന്നെ അധ്യാപകർക്ക് കുട്ടികളില് ഉള്ള കഴിവുകളൊക്കെ തിരിച്ചറിഞ്ഞ് അത് പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിച്ച് അവരുടെ കഴിവൊക്കെ വളർത്തിയെടുക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. So that's it.
Okay, the next. He suggested 2 good points. Now others. Hey yaar, why are you turning off your mic? Just unmute and speak. Or should I call? Come on. These all you will score points for this. Rishikesh will get double points if I should call the names. Come on, yeah. Should I call? Okay, Sri Lakshmi, come on.
Okay, so if I'm taking traditional schooling, it's a school where you go directly and you meet your friends. And I also, favor Rishikesh points. The first point, what he told was interacting with friends, and interacting with friends is one of the main problems which is there with all the students, because students usually like to talk with their friends and learn from their friends. Example, I was a student who used to do group study and then study topics which were tougher for us, so in exams we could score a better mark. But comparatively, when it comes to online classes, it cannot happen because everybody does not have the same internet connection. They do not have the same Wi-Fi or anything, so it's not that easy for them to connect to each other. So mostly what happens is that if I want to learn some particular topic from my friend, after the whole class gets over, the Wi-Fi gets cut, or maybe the internet gets lost, so they don't have much battery or network at the last, so we cannot do. So that's what I feel against online classes. And traditional schooling is much better because you can interact with your friends, you can learn from them. Teachers can also have a better eye contact, because eye contact is a big thing which I find myself, because when I look into my teacher's eyes and then learn, many concepts indirectly goes in your mind. But when it comes to online classes, what happens is, if the teacher talks to us, the sound from the home, sound from the neighborhood, everything comes in distracted. If in the class, teacher tries to control the whole class, so at the time the whole class get concentrated and the topic is known to the child very well. And let us come to traditional schooling and online schooling activities. When it comes to activities, we usually had a lot of annual day programs, a lot of programs to show our own talent is outside. And I am a dancer, so I would love to dance anywhere, but right now I'm not getting any opportunity to dance. And if it is for also, maybe one or two child will join. Very people are very lazy to even attend that classes too. So, school is not taking initiative more to bring up children's talent, example, dance, music. Maybe our school only take initiative for painting students, for art students, and for quizzes and all. They don't look at the sides of dancers or singers in the class, or maybe beatboxing. So these are the things which I find comparative into online and offline classes. Yes, that's what I would
Good,
like to say.
Rashmi.
Thanks.
Now others, come on.
I have a doubt.
Yes, Ratish.
Like, is the topic on homeschool? I mean, like traditional schooling versus homeschooling, or traditional schooling versus online schooling? Because homeschooling is something that
Yes,
they
it
hide
was
their
it's a little bit different, but we try to mix it because many of the students got confused with the topic, right? You could say on anything.
Okay.
Avinash, Ritesh has a point which I was about to raise anyway. We have to stick to the point. It is about the traditional schooling versus homeschooling. Homeschooling is not necessarily, although we are tempted to believe that homeschooling is about learning from home, which is the online platform currently which we are available. I think it's slightly different in definition. Homeschooling is where you learn at home. You don't have a connection with school as such. Okay, but to liven up, I have a few questions to Sri Lakshmi as well as Rishikesh, right? So you said interacting with friends makes you better, but my friends' parents think that interacting with me is not necessarily a good thing. How do you explain that? Interactions may cause negative impact as well. If I'm friendly with, say, a kid who is into drugs or tobacco or alcohol, then the interaction is not a good thing. So how do you explain that? Sri Lakshmi and Rishikesh, both of you can explain that.
So I would tell that I may interact with my friends whom I know very well. So people whom I know very well is equal to my parents knowing my friends very well. So if I know my friends very well, my parents also know my friend very well. And I take friends. I make friends with everyone. Everyone is my friend. Everyone right now, anybody sitting over here is also my friend, even though I don't talk to them very much. And I have very frequent friends as my best friends. And I believe that every child has some potential in them. Maybe they must be negative. Yes, so interactive can be less. That's it's the personality. If I understand the opposite child is negative, then I can just come out of it a little bit. And I told, because my friends are very positive enough. One child must be good in physics, or maybe other one will be good in chemistry, and I'm good in social science. So in this way, when it goes, if my friend who is better in physics, but she's poor in social science, I could help her. And I am weak in physics, but I'm good in social science. I teach her, and then she teach me. So it's like, it goes a triangle way where you teach one another the difficult topics. What happened in learning itself, the better way is when you teach somebody and then you learn. So when you teach someone, what happens is that when you teach something, those things goes into your brain much faster than you reading it just like that. So in that way, I told is interaction is very good, and friendship for different people is in different way. So students going into negative things and all, you can just come out of it in many ways. You can come out of it, maybe like telling not just avoid it, indirectly you can avoid and go to another one. It's all in yourself. Yes sir, that's what I
Rishikesh, what do you think? ഋഷികേഷിന് തോന്നുന്നുണ്ടോ ഈ ഋഷികേഷ് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ കുട്ടികളായിട്ട് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ വ്യക്തിത്വവും പേഴ്സണാലിറ്റിയും ക്യാരക്ടറും ഡെവലപ്പ് ആവുന്നു. ചിലപ്പോൾ പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ട് ആവില്ല ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, മോശമായിട്ടായിരിക്കും, കൂട്ടുകെട്ടനുസരിച്ചിരിക്കും. അപ്പൊ ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വലിയൊരു ഗുണമുള്ള നല്ലൊരു കാര്യമാണോ ഋഷികേഷ് ശരിക്കും?
അല്ല, നമുക്കതൊക്കെ തിരിച്ചറിയാനാവൂലോ.
പറ്റുമോ?
ഇപ്പൊ എനിക്കുള്ള ഒരുവിധം എല്ലാ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനെ എന്റെ അച്ഛനും അമ്മയ്ക്കൊക്കെ അറിയാം.
അച്ഛനോടും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ലോ നമ്മളുള്ള സിഗരറ്റ് വലിക്കുന്നത്. അച്ഛനറിയുന്നതല്ല ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ. ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചത് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ നല്ലതാണ്, അതുകൊണ്ട് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകണം എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ മോശമാവാനുള്ള സാധ്യത ഇല്ലേ? സ്കൂളിൽ പോകുന്നത് അത്ര നല്ല കാര്യമാണോ? അതാണ് കാരണമെങ്കിൽ.
പക്ഷെ സ്കൂളിൽ പോവാതിരുന്ന ഇത് പോസിറ്റീവ് സൈഡ്സ് ഇല്ലാതെ ഇരിക്കില്ലേ?
Okay.
So even though you don't go in school, even though you don't go to the traditional directly into school, still students are in online platform. Most of the students are in negative things. Yes, sir. I personally know many of them. Just like in the class, even though they study in online itself, they continue this. So there's no point of telling in direct school or online school. Negative things are always negative. It's we who decide where we want to go.
Okay.
ഓൺലൈൻ ലേണിംഗിനും നെഗറ്റീവ് സൈഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ.
Fair enough. I'm just asking a question. Answer it. Avinash?
Okay, next. Who will come? Mekha? Are you ready?
Yeah, but I prepared on the same topic. Is that fine?
Okay, it's fair.
Yeah, okay. Okay, hello all. I'm Mekha, and as part of the debate, I am supporting on the theme as traditional schooling. Some of you may disagree, but I have my reasons. Okay, so the first topic I want to talk about is the environment of the physical school. So the environment of a physical school can increase a student's socializing skills or interaction with others, and thus is that's one of the best ways to build one's character and personality. But then to create an environment like that at home, according to me, it might be next to impossible. Then the second point, this is, I think, one of the really valid points. This is hands-on learning. So if a student, probably, just an example, if a student is considering a degree in or just studying a particular subject like biology or chemistry, homeschooling can only get them to a certain extent, like probably not the whole thing. Then it might be easy to take probably a few online classes on these, but then these classes include labs and clinical practice or hands-on learning, and I don't think this can be done without a traditional campus. Then extracurricular activities. There are some extracurricular activities you cannot gain in homeschooling or in other places. For example, field trips and all. You can't have a field trip at home, and certainly I would never want to miss a field trip. So then, and some of these extracurricular lessons can also help them in probably, like, you know, if you're studying a lot, it can help in relaxing or, you know, taking a break. But then, like, dance and all you can do at home, but then like field trips, science stuff and all, you cannot do it at home. It's probably hard to get that kind of environment at home. Then the fourth point is a routine. So a routine is at home is as important as having a routine at school. So basically, school officials, they'll organize lessons and courses in a systematic way. Now, attending classes means joining them on time. Then by doing this, the students itself will get a routine, and that will really make them disciplined and punctual. Whereas at home, it's not, you may be probably, like, you won't have a routine at home. It'll probably, you know, slow you down something, and you won't be able to be punctual that much as how you would be in school. Does anyone have any questions? I'll try my best to answer. I'll get you a box. Thank you so much.
If anyone?
Yes, I have some questions. If nobody else have.
So one question. did you mean field trip from school or a field trip from your family?
I'm sorry, no, it's not clear. I didn't understand.
Field trip. You're talking about trips, right?
Yeah.
So field trip, you were talking about, the trips when you go from the school or
Yes.
from your personal
The
side?
school.
The school. I see. Thanks.
Mekha, what do you mean by homeschooling?
Sorry, what?
What is homeschooling? You are supporting traditional schooling, right? As in, like, you go in the morning to school and then study there, sit together with friends, and then come back home in the evening, right?
Yes. Yeah. You can
Or
put it that way.
sometimes in a residential setup, you may have to stay at the hostel. But what is actually homeschooling?
Well, according to me, homeschooling is probably it's a definitely type of schooling, but then it's mainly done at home, not in a physical campus or something.
Okay,
Like,
so you don't go to a school. Who teaches you at homeschooling?
sir, I don't do homeschooling.
No, you don't, but you have to understand the concept before you argue for one side, right? So, I mean, not just for Mekha, everybody else, the question is this: how do you understand traditional schooling, which I think most of you have understood in the way that you go to school and then come back home and then do your homework, go back to school the next day. But what is exactly homeschooling? Have anybody Googled it?
So homeschooling is the schooling done by like parents or the private tutors in home itself. Like they don't want to send their, if they are overprotective and they don't want to send the kids to schools, then they school it themselves, like with a private tutor or themselves, like the parents themselves.
Did you say overprotective?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you are not in favor of homeschooling.
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, now Mekha, one more question to you. You said about routine, right? You can have a routine when you're at school at home as well. You can wake up at 6 o'clock and then you can study for 2 hours and then go out for another 2 hours. You can have a routine. So what's
yes, sir, I know, like you can have a routine at home, but then probably like it wouldn't be a routine that's as strict as the one you have at school.
Okay, it helps you have a better routine, or there is some
Yes.
rule which forces you to do the routine. Okay, and one other question, you don't go to school, you save time. It helps your mother, assuming that it's the mother you cooks at home, so she doesn't have to rush the food in the morning so that you have to have a proper lunch in the afternoon. Then you save petrol, environment. You don't need to travel.
Sir, I'm not sure how to like. I'm
How
not
to
sure
answer
how
that?
to.
Try answering that. It's okay. You're doing very well. Just try to answer that.
It may cause a bit harm to the environment going to the school like that, but I mean it's a need.
It's a small
like
price,
that.
right? That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
It's a small price to pay. Okay. All right.
Next, Ritesh or some others?
Yeah, I'll present.
Okay,
So
turn your video.
I can't turn my video on like both the devices. Sorry.
Get a third one.
Rajesh sir, can I just make a point on the question of the routine?
Yes.
Just one. Sir, in school you just said that saving petrol. Yes, sir, you can do it by carpool or maybe going by school bus or maybe going walking. And so you talked about breakfast, lunch. Sir, I have classes at 8:30. I usually eat and then go to my classes because it's a continuous journey. My mom too prepares just like how we go for online classes, offline classes. She gets up early, she makes, and then I enter. So, sir, online classes do some type of points you don't get into the mind clearly because the teacher's net can also be very low, in which there's a lot of lagging.
Okay. Let me put the same question I put to Riddhish. How do you understand homeschooling?
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, exactly the same which Ritesh told. That's what I mean. And one more point which I would like to add, homeschooling is very more soft skills which you don't learn from school. Example, honesty, tell truths to everybody, and most type of those soft skills which you learn from school, no, sorry, which you learn from home, which you don't learn from school. Those 2 points also. I personally think it comes under homeschooling.
Can I say something, Mr. Rajesh?
No, it's up to the moderator. I'm just intervening.
Avinash, can I speak something?
Yes, ma'am. You could even ask questions to others if you
Oh,
had
is
doubts.
it? Actually, what is happening to Sri Lakshmi and others, they are talking about the same traditional teaching, and the same traditional teaching is providing through online, and they are same way they are talking about the same curriculum, same things. So I prefer you guys to go to 50 countries in the world is preferring homeschooling, because they are you just go through it, you will find out what is homeschooling. You are talking about same traditional schooling happening in online. So it is the same thing, you are battling against your own points, I think. And online teachers won't come for homeschooling. A tutor will come to the home and teach you. That is entirely different. And it is legally accepted in 50 countries like USA, United Kingdom, whatever major countries is accepting. So you are then somebody point out that the overprotecting, maybe their citizens are overprotected by the country itself. So whoever is rebattling, I think you are rebattling in a different kind of point. It is entirely different when you are talking, because uh, adding the points to the same point, and you are debattling to your same point itself. So I think it is really contradictory. So I don't know, Avinash. That is my point. And see, most of these families having breadwinners nowadays, it is so difficult to send the kids because of the coronavirus, and homeschooling having their own curriculum, their own periodic tables, their own things. So it is entirely different. A single parent can have benefited by this homeschooling. So please go into that kind of points. That is all of it.
Yes, ma'am. I also had a doubt in it in the beginning stage, and I also thought that there would be a contradiction in the debate too. But we decided to go to this topic. Many people understand it in a different way, because they do not even search about a topic and they just come and tell their views.
Avinash, before starting the debate, if one could define the topic, like what is a homeschooling and what is a traditional schooling, then it will be better for others to understand what they are battling on. And if one person is having one person is presenting what is they are debating on, then it will be easy for them.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now who will come next? Ritesh?
Yeah, I'll present now. So I'm going to take upon traditional schooling. So why would I prefer traditional schooling? So we can make new friends in traditional schooling and we can mingle with them. So right now, if you're promoted to a class, I'm in 7th, and if I go to 8th, I would, make new friends and I would mingle with them. And that would be really fun. So, and then also traditional schooling can shape a person's personality. Right now, if you have friends and then they have different characters, you know how to behave with them, and when you're in a classroom, you know how to talk, you know what to do. So in traditional schooling, can shape a person's personality, but in homeschooling there are only like 1 or 2 kids who might be studying, then they can't mingle with others and they don't know how to behave with different people's character. So traditional schooling has an advantage like that, and we have more freer space to study. Like right now in a classroom, we might, if you have a doubt, we can also ask our friends and we can mingle with others to clear our doubts, and then we can have a better space or a freer space to study. And then we have more knowledge communications. So more knowledge communications in the sense, right now, in GK, one person might know more facts. So he might tell to the classroom and we might get to know them. But in homeschooling, like we have to go and search it on our own and we have to learn it by ourselves. But then in traditional schooling, we have more knowledge communications. And we have more competitive environment. Like right now, might have competitions, and then we might have examinations. So we have a lot of competitive environment in traditional schooling. And then students will be more active in traditional schooling because we have our friends around. We might, do some funny things and all this stuff. So they might enjoy traditional schooling more than homeschooling. So in traditional schooling, we can educate more people at the same time. Instead, in homeschooling, like we only have 1 or 2 kids might be studying, and then we can learn disciplinary actions more in traditional schooling than in homeschooling. Like we, when we are mingling with others, we know what to do. We know how to behave in a crowded place. So there'll be more disciplinary actions in traditional schooling. In traditional schooling, equal and planned education is given to each student in the class respectively. And there'll be more physical activities and also more periods like dance, music, physical education, etc. in traditional schooling. And then we also might have many competitions also. And then in traditional schooling, time schedules are stricter than in homeschooling. So in homeschooling, if the parent is teaching, they might focus on one subject more than the other. But in traditional schooling, we have time schedules which focus on periods, and they have time which are stricter. So after half an hour for one period means half an hour for one period. And this might provide better time knowledge to the students. They might know how to schedule their time. They know more time knowledge, how to use their time. And then students studying in traditional schools will get more resources such as technology, library, playgrounds. Right now, they have computer rooms. Nowadays, we have computers, but then we don't know what to do with the computer. There might be scratch programming, and there might be, graphical designing in schools. So it'll be more technological focus too. And then library, we have for books, and then we have playgrounds for playing. And then there are dedicated boards like CPSC and state board for schools. And then they have, trained teachers to teach. So our concepts will be better and clear in traditional schooling. Also, there might be a lot of club activities in traditional schooling right now. In my school, there are these robotic clubs and Gavins clubs and a lot of clubs. So that'll provoke the interest in schooling more. So that's all I want to talk about traditional schooling. So thank you. Any questions?
Any
And then
questions?
I wanted to answer Rajesh sir's question that smoking and cigarettes, like a student might have a positive and negative sides, but even if he does drugs, we should not get influenced by his bad habits. Like we can take his positive sides, maybe if he's friendly. So we can take his positive sides, and then we can also be a friend. It is actually wrong avoiding a person just because he's addicted or doing bad things. We should not get influenced, and that's all.
Fair enough.
I have a question, Ritesh. In traditional schooling, only one teacher for suppose 40-30 students. But while homeschooling, a teacher could concentrate on much less people. So it will be more effective while teaching, right? Do you agree that point?
Yeah, but right now, if you have many people who want to learn too, you can't just focus on many. So right now we are sharing the knowledge, the same knowledge. And yeah, in homeschooling, you might focus on 1 or 2 better than in traditional schooling. But then if there are questions also we can ask, right, in traditional schools.
Ritesh, let me rephrase what Avinash said. Avinash is saying when a teacher attends to 40 people, she or he cannot focus on all of them with equal intensity. But if a parent or somebody who is homeschooling is concentrating on 1 or 2 people, they can concentrate better. Isn't that a distinctive advantage of homeschooling? That's
correct.
interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree on that.
So, Ritesh, one of your points was there's more space available.
So, freer space to study, yeah.
Yeah. Is that really correct? Like, if you're in a class of 40 students and in a traditional setup, and in a homeschooling setup, you may be in a room, a wider room or big room, but space per student may be more in homeschooling, isn't it?
Well, personally, while studying in home, I wouldn't feel like even studying because, it's an environment where we usually go and come. But in classroom, I feel like it's more spacious for me. I have my friends also along with me, so I feel like studying more there. So that is what I meant as freer space to study.
Okay, but yeah, the point is the space per student may not be as much as that in the home for a. It's not necessarily always correct.
Because Ritesh, you feel that because you were going to school from young onwards, if you are starting homeschooling, you may feel different because we are all going traditional schooling, right?
Yeah.
You may feel different.
I mean, like right now, also we have online classes. My mom also sits with me, but I don't feel comfortable with that.
And also one other question I wanted to ask was about the flexibility that comes with the homeschooling. So everyone were talking about the traditional schooling, and we were talking about the routine. But with the homeschooling, you have much more flexibility, and also the point was raised about the impact of environment when everyone is traveling, and also you will be more self-disciplined, which is indeed a quality which you develop with this homeschooling. So that's one point I wanted to ask to all the traditional schoolers. Is it not a good thing?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat your question? I didn't get you.
Okay, the self-discipline which comes with the homeschooling, because you need to be very disciplined when you are at home and doing the schooling. You need to complete a lot of things as per the syllabus by yourself. I mean, there is no routine, so it's a quality that will help you a lot. Don't you think that?
Yeah, you have to do it yourself, but then when I don't know, I'm not sure how to answer this question.
Because in the traditional schooling, you are forced to go, at time, and you are doing for someone else's sake. Whereas in homeschooling, you are doing it for yourself, and you will be self-motivated, and again, you need to be disciplined for that. So I guess I think it's a virtue that comes with it.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, feel free to disagree. It's a debate.
No, but I think when I go to a school, I feel that I'm not forced to go. I feel that I have, I can study on my own, but then I have a support. I feel it as a support instead of, just doing my own thing on my own. So I feel it as a support for helping me develop my knowledge rather than telling it's a motivation for my self-discipline.
Ritesh,
I think, yeah.
really? You just said that you are being irritated by your mother sitting beside you, and now you want to be a nice boy and go to school and follow
No,
all
I
the.
didn't mean that.
Are
I
you going to
meant
believe
that
that, Ritesh?
I meant that my mother comes and right now if we have a new chapter like integer, then right now my mother will start explaining to me. That is what I feel uncomfortable. I feel comfortable when the teacher explains to me more, because I know my mother, she is very good in mathematics, but then I don't feel that
I enjoy
that
what you're saying, but we are going to leave today. Your mother is going to stay. Let me make sure that your mother is not around, okay?
hope she doesn't see the recording.
Okay, all right. Avinash?
Yes, I also agree with the point that Ben sir said. If you are weak in maths, you could spend more time in homeschooling in maths. While if you are more efficient in science, you could finish the subject in much less time and spend more there. But in traditional schooling, when we attend a class of maths 1 hour, we don't get whole idea of it. But we attend a class of Malayalam or English for 30 minutes, we could get a completely idea. But the 30 minutes we will be engaged in other malpractices. But for the maths session, we'll be much confused and we want to learn more bit of that. So what is about this in this idea?
Like now I'm totally confused.
Ritesh, add on to that, like Mr. Ben and Master Avinash said, I want clarify. I want to ask a question that clarify. Then you can give me a point. Like, if you are a student and you love history and maths at the same time, and you don't want to study physics, biology, and other things, but you don't have a course like that to study. So, and your homeschooling or parent is providing you that, what you will choose? Like you choose a homeschooling, or you wanted to go to a biology class, a physics class that bore you like anything, and you want to kill the frogs and cockroaches, and you don't want to do that anymore. But in your homeschooling, you are free to do mathematics and history and whatever you wanted to study. So which one you choose? And is it better in that way that you are interested, motivated, or they are building you an interest in your mind? Which one you think is better? That your own spirit and enlighten, they are enlightening your own spirit, or you wanted to go to like a road not taken by Robert's Falls. You don't want to diverge into a woods, into an unwanted path that already run by lots of people. You wanted to go to that path, or you wanted to come to a path that already you are interested and you know that in future you will be good at it, and homeschooling is providing you that. In that situation, what will be your rebuttal? What you are going to say about that?
I think being the last speaker, Ritesh is taking all the talk. It's not just on Ritesh, anyone else can, Srilakshmi or Mekha can answer, who are talking about, or Rishikesh.
Look this, if you came up earlier, you could avoid these all questions, right? That one, Rishikesh.
Like I was waiting for someone who would talk about homeschooling too. So I thought someone might talk about homeschooling. So I was waiting for that, but then you called upon my name.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone talking about homeschooling today. Possibly because no one is homeschooling and don't know much about it.
Okay, we'll go to the next person. Sriyesh, are you there? Srilakshmi, you could answer the question that Ben sir said.
I just have a doubt because I'm not much into homeschooling. If I'm a 10th student, now I'm going to 11th. So mostly in traditional schooling, you have streams. So if I want to be a doctor, I'll take science stream and then I'll go. So in homeschooling, how is it done? How do you get the certificate that you have passed 10th and gone? How is the exams done for homeschooling? It's a doubt from my side. Any judges, can you answer me?
Sadish, you want to answer that?
Like I'm not sure, but then my mom told me you can write exams, but then you're going to get, like, there are these things called open schools. So open schools are there. You can get homeschool, and then you write the exam in that open school. Then you can get your that certificate that you have written this 10th exam.
Thank you. I really don't know much about, getting your degrees.
I will give you some ideas about it. In homeschooling in India, not registered by any authority, and there is no registration required for students. Okay, so students can seek certification and opt to take IGCSE exams or private candidate, or sit for the grade 10 and 12 exams of NIOS. You can do that. So homeschooling, you can do this kind of thing.
Ben sir, could repeat the question? I will make others to answer.
Okay. So the question I asked last about the self-discipline that comes with the homeschooling. Okay. So these days, you will be working from home. When you are at job, most of the jobs prefer working from home, and you need to finish the same work as you would do in an office environment from home. So you need to stick with what you are expected to do. Basically, it's the self-discipline that will help you to do the same job. If you digress a lot, then you won't be able to finish the work. So that's the point I was raising about self-discipline. Like, when you are actually in a work environment, you need to keep that up. So during the schooling days itself, you can develop this quality of self-discipline, or you will tend to do that more on homeschooling than on traditional schooling. So that was more of a point than a question.
Sri Lakshmi or Mekha could answer the question.
Ben sir, can you tell the question very shortly because I don't understand it very well?
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you not be more self-disciplined or self-organized or more organized when you are when you are doing homeschooling rather than traditional schooling? Is that clear?
Yes.
So like even in traditional schools, they give homework and all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ritesh, but in a traditional school, you're forced to do certain things because of the peer pressure from the teachers, and your schedules are fixed for you, almost done for you. You have timetables fixed. But in homeschooling, there is a lot more leeway to be flexible. So when you become disciplined in that context, you become a lot more self-disciplined than the other one. Is that a point? Is it a positive point? That's the question. It's not a question. It's a suggestion or a thought.
So like forced to do means forced to study some subjects.
Yeah, in all subjects.
So, but like I don't think that is forced, because right now, if you choose like your profession right now itself, then tomorrow you don't get that same marks you require to go for that profession. Then what will you do? You will have to go to another field, right? So I guess this is like a basic or something, basics for tomorrow. Tomorrow we can, in 11th, we might choose streams. So for right now, to prepare for that, they might have given all these subjects, right? To choose your appropriate stream, which you like.
Slightly different point, but okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And the discipline can come from both traditional schooling and homeschooling, right? Yes, traditional schooling, you have specified things and you have specified year. So in every year, you have specified topics to be learned. So it's not that difficult for a student to learn it. So the student should like what they learn so they can learn it. And homeschooling, yes, they also have a specified thing and they can also learn. It's like what we like to do. So if we would love to learn a subject, even though it's difficult, we need to do it. Whatever we're doing right now, it's anyway for the future. Rather it is traditional or homeschooling.
No, so let me. When I say about discipline, it's not about the subject, but again, the self-discipline which you learn to cover the syllabus, for example, in the homeschooling. So you need to spend that much time to cover that particular subject, for example, mathematics. So so if you are very good at mathematics, then you can cover it in very less time and then move on to other subjects. That flexibility is not there in the traditional schooling. Yeah, and also coming back, if you finish mathematics in mathematics quicker, then you have lots of time available. Then it's on you to decide where to spend that time, whether to spend that time, the extra time you get on other subjects, or it's coming with a, you need to be self-disciplined to use your time and resources properly. But you tend to do that more when you're doing homeschooling. That was my point. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. So before our exams start itself, let's talk about the final exam in the last one, for traditional schooling. The exam lasts, we have 2 months before itself, the portions are over. So if 2 months is much enough for students to cover the whole subject. And if you kind of like learn, like if you're taught a subject, a topic today, and you just keep 2 hours beside from your whole routine, is 2 hours you have to keep for studying, it is much enough to cover a whole topic. And then if you go like that, there's no, you can cover much subjects, right? And then
No. Yeah. It's not about covering the subjects, Rashmi. It's about how you arrange or how you organize yourself to do, how you dedicate your time, for example, to cover everything.
so you're telling to cover particular subject in traditional schooling and homeschooling.
Sri Lakshmi, let me put a slightly different spin to it. I mean, it's almost the same thing, but it's slightly different. Say, I want to be an artist. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And all I need to know is what? How do you become an artist? You have to be born an artist, I suppose. But other than that, or let's say I want to be a maths teacher or history teacher. Let's put it as history teacher. I only need basic knowledge of all the other subjects. Say, for example, by 8th standard, I will know most of what I need to know on the other subjects. I want to read up history. Instead, I'm forced to learn English, Malayalam, everything else in equal quantities determined by a traditional school. I don't want to do that. I just want to read history. Homeschooling give you that flexibility, right? So you can read up a lot more portions, a degree standard reading up in history, while you only need basic skills in maths and physics and chemistry and biology. Because I know that for a fact, because after 10th standard, I really didn't like chemistry or biology, and I never put any of them to use. So if I were to learn if I want to learn a one particular subject and concentrate on it, why waste my time studying on certain other things in detail? So homeschooling gives you that flexibility, while traditional schooling may not. So I mean, that's the point. I mean, all the points you have mentioned are very, very relevant. Otherwise, fraternity, becoming, working with friends, group activities, all are relevant. It's just that another thought is being thrown in. That's all. And Sadish may be a better person to speak on homeschooling, although we may not have that much time today, right, Sadish?
Yeah, I just thought let them complete and then maybe.
Okay. Is there anything else? How do we proceed, Avinash, from here? Now that most of them have made the points.
So can I answer the last question?
Yes.
What's the question?
So that right now, if I don't, you told right, I don't like chemistry and I haven't used it for, long, then can I tell something?
Yes.
So when you're young, when you first enter school, they teach you something like ABCD. Like tomorrow also, right now, ABCD is to read and learn English tomorrow, right? In higher classes. So right now, when you learn chemistry, tomorrow, if you have a situation, and then you should know how you can identify that acid, and right now, all the stuff. So I guess it's just for knowledge. You learn all this in
Right.
chemistry.
And so you told about 8th standard. Until 8th standard, you just only cover a particular topic. Till 10th, you are actually covering so much basic. When you come to my point, I love history. I like social science, but in future I have no news with history. But in that time, if somebody younger than me comes and asks me about Independence Day and all, what is the history, I need to have at least a general knowledge about it. And as I told it, every year the school gives you particular subject. If it's about independence, they only teach you half of it in fifth and the rest half of it in 10th. So it's, if you have a full cake, only half you eat it and half you keep it for next 10 years, it will be of no use. So you need to learn it like that, right, sir?
Sri Lakshmi, I'm trying to inject some sense of freedom to you to choose, and you just want to go back and study what the schools tell you. Come
Yes,
on,
sir.
then
Yes, sir.
see, right?
Yes, sir. There are many topics which I only learned half in 8th and I'm actually learning the rest in 10th. So if I only want to learn one particular subject, then I choose for homeschooling. And then in the future, somebody comes and asks me about another subject, then
Tell them go read up. I don't know. That's a good answer too, But anyway, okay. So
And again, one more comment I wanted to add is that in the future, it's going to be more based on your competency, your talent. The job market will be hiring a person than your degree. Of course, you need a degree, but again, as the time goes by, it's not necessary that your degree always help you. Someone who don't have a degree may know about a topic more than someone who has a degree. So yeah, it's something which you always keep in your mind. I'm not saying not to go to university or not to go to a college for degree, but also keep in mind that how much you know is going to actually matters than just having the certificate with you.
Yes, sir. Now we can conclude, sir. Are you ready with your decisions? Who will win?
well, okay. Ben, you want to go first, and then I will follow up. You give your opinion since it's a very small group and informal. So actually, Ben, go with your comments on all of them, and then I will follow up with my comments.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So so it's slightly biased in today's topic because there was no one talking about the homeschooling today, and rightly so. I am not surprised because I don't think anyone is homeschooling in this group. Rishikesh started. ഋഷികേശിന്റെ നല്ല പ്രസന്റേഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു. ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രസന്റേഷൻ ഒക്കെ കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. പിന്നെ അതിൽ പോയിന്റ്സ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലും മലയാളത്തിലും എഴുതിയത് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ഹെൽപ്ഡ്. സോ ദാറ്റ്സ് റിയലി ഗുഡ്. 5 മിനിറ്റ് ആണ് ടൈം പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ 5 മിനിറ്റ് മൊത്തം യൂസ് ചെയ്തതായിട്ട് എനിക്ക് തോന്നിയില്ല. ഋഷികേശ് 3 മിനിറ്റ് താഴെ പറഞ്ഞു സംസാരിച്ചുള്ളൂ. സോ 5 മിനിറ്റ് അവൈലബിൾ ആയിരുന്നപ്പം 5 മിനിറ്റും ഋഷികേശിന് പോയിന്റ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പോയിന്റ്സ് നല്ല പോയിന്റ്സ് ആയിരുന്നു. ആ പോയിന്റ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് കൂടുതൽ പറയാൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കാമായിരുന്നു. ആ ഒരു കാര്യം ഒന്ന് ഋഷികേശ് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുമല്ലോ. രാജേഷിന് ഓക്കെ. ശ്രീലക്ഷ്മി നന്നായിട്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു. കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം നന്നായിട്ട് പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തു. ഒരു പ്രസന്റേഷൻ ഇല്ലാതിരുന്ന് കുറച്ചൊരു ടോപ്പിക്ക് വല്ലാണ്ട് സോറി, I'm not even sure. Srilakshmi, no Malayalam. I'll come back in English.
Yes, sir. You can speak in Malayali.
No, I'll speak English. Yes. So yeah, you did really well. You talked about things, but sometimes I felt like you were digressing slightly from the point you were trying to make. But apart from that, it was very well presented. Mekha presented very well. Good presentation, good topics, good points. Um, yeah, did really good, really good. Ridesh also had presentation which helped. I think the font could have been a bit more readable. I am using a small screen on my phone. I really couldn't read the font. I mean, really couldn't read what's presented in there. But yeah, you had some good points as well. So yeah, well done, yes.
What exactly is the topic? Traditional schooling versus homeschooling. Most of you did not know what is homeschooling. It just needs to type in homeschooling in Google and it will, I'm sure that it will throw up enough answers for that. So at least we have an idea of that. So do not.
I just want to chip in just for a second. So I think by reading the topic, everyone just assumed that it's about online classes rather than homeschooling. Many of them even didn't know their homeschooling, such a thing called homeschooling exists. So yeah, I think that was I give a point to Ridesh there, that Ridesh knew what homeschooling was. I mean, what homeschooling is. So I will give a point there to Ridesh. He did the homework. But again, everyone else, I guess, straight away assumed that homeschooling is online schooling. Please continue. Sorry to come in, Rajesh.
So basically, know what you're talking about. So that is a very important lesson before you start on this. Before you refute something, you know what is going on. You can stick to your point, but better know what the other point is before you emphasize that point. Ritesh, yes, you had a head start on that. At least you knew what it was. Rishikesh, bit low on confidence. You made some points, very good points. Rishikesh, I'm happy with what you did. A bit more confidence would be nice. Just small group, so a bit more confidence, better. And you actually made statements. You have to persuade me to believe what you say. For me to believe in you, you need to believe in yourself. So it didn't come through. I'm sure you believe in what you're saying, but it's just that it didn't come through well enough. So work on it. Of course, brownie points for coming up first. That's definitely good. Definitely good. But the thing is, be a lot more confident. When you speak, you try to persuade people. That's how you do that. So Rishikesh, that's fine. Contents, the points you made are valid enough. But at the same time, when you understand the other side of it, you make it better. Make better arguments when you understand the other side. So that's what I have to tell about Rishikesh. Sri Lakshmi, as you admitted, it was quite clear that you are not prepared. But you are a good speaker, so you could actually get your way around to some extent. But at the end of the day, everybody looks for the substance in it. Yes, it's very important. The form, the style of your presentation is very important, but also you have to have a substance in the contents. Otherwise, we may fall short. So work on it. But again, as you said, you didn't get the time to prepare, or you were not prepared to actually present because you are one of the organizers. I understand. So that's fine. But work on it. Then Mekha, I was quite impressed. Actually, the points you made were very, very valid, and the presentation was not exactly dynamic or aggressive, but very calm. But you made your points very well. Fluent enough. But again, as I said, you answered the questions well, and I actually quite impressed with that particular answer you gave to the small price to pay, although you didn't say it in so many words, but that is the point you were making. That is a very valid point. And well prepared. So that was good. And Ritesh probably, I think, may have an edge over everybody else today. It probably looks like he is ready to answer questions, and he started answering, and you came last, so which also means you have an advantage of having heard all the points better. I have to put you down some way, right? So But you did well. Understood the concepts. There was a bit of a passion when you spoke, which is good. And I think you did well. And the most important thing that's a Ritesh's presentation, although it was very wordy. PowerPoint is about the power of the points. You know, you did not really use it, but the thing is, because you understood what is homeschooling, it was easier and more persuasive when you made your points. You were comparing every single point with exactly what is homeschooling and traditional schooling, and highlighting why traditional schooling is better. So whenever you said about you said something about the character building, interaction and all, it's very clear that you understood what is homeschooling when you were saying whatever you were saying about traditional schooling. So I would think, if I were to grade based on your performance today, I would grade Ritesh immediately followed by Mekha, while both Rishikesh and Sri Lakshmi did well in the circumstances. But you may have to make sure that general points, you should know what you're talking about. So concepts, understanding the concept is extremely important. There is a slight lack of preparation from some of you, so you may want to work on it. Presentation wise, using of PowerPoint is great, but I believe that PowerPoints are for lesser speakers in a debate. If you can actually pull it through without a presentation, I'm talking about 3 minutes, 4-minute thing, people will concentrate on you, which is a challenge in itself, because they are looking straight into your eyes when you're speaking. But at the same time, you get their undivided attention. So if you're a good speaker, make sure that you don't have a PowerPoint. But if you're not that great speaker, make sure you have a PowerPoint presentation, so you're distracting them. The idea is not, the idea is to sell your point. So do it in the best possible way. So if you are a great speaker, just make the points one by one. You may not need a PowerPoint for 3-4 minute thing. And the other thing which Ben pointed out is, make use of the time. You know, you have 5 minutes, don't settle for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Find your way to explain or use that time. Give examples. You know, sometimes you need examples. So instead of just making a point saying that the homeschooling interaction is good, you can give examples. You know, interaction is not so good sometimes, why it is good. You know, the dance class example, somebody said, use those examples. A little more preparation would help all of you. And whichever language you choose, make sure that you speak whatever, language doesn't matter, really doesn't matter. These are the lessons you learn as you grow up. English may not give you an advantage in the real world of substance. So if you're going to speak in Malayalam or whichever languages which is less common among your peers, don't be apologetic about it. Just say what you have to say. People will appreciate that. Okay. I had one or two more points, but I can't remember those. But anyway, it's a very pleasant experience, pleasant evening spending with you, and I look forward to hear from you in the weeks to come. Bring your friends as well. It's fun. I thought it was fun. Rishikesh, why are you so serious? Smile at me. So I had fun, and I hope you had fun too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the debate. Now we could end this. I would especially thank both of the judges who took their time to be with us, for hearing us and judging us. Thank you.